Hello and welcome to today's Starseed Healing Circle. So in today's session we are heading back to Egypt, almost at the end of this journey. We are at the temple, the tomb of Tea. And after that we are working with the Book of Doors and the Wands of Horus to do our healing. So let's get tuned in. Today we're tuning in with the Lightcode Activation for the Moses energy. So whether we're looking at Moses as a real life person or as an archetypal person, we're tuning into that type of energy. So perhaps close your eyes, tune into what it is that you would like to receive, what you would like to let go of, what you would like to bring into your life, and what you would like to heal. Just take a moment to really find clarity on where you want to go with today's session. When you're ready, open your eyes. Allow your eyes to gently rest upon the light code, or perhaps trace it with your eyes like it's a labyrinth for your eyes. Using the light code as a way to connect as a group and to tune into the healing that's about to be received today. Just stay here as long as you want. Okay, so let's dive into where we were and what we were doing and what we saw and experienced. So we are at the Saqqara funeral complex where the Mastaba temple or Mastaba pyramids are, step pyramids and so forth. And so this is a small tomb that's quite far out onto the outskirts. It's not a very big tomb, but it was sizable, and it was actually a really beautiful experience within this place, because there's some really beautiful hieroglyphs and the colors are still well kept. So going in, as you could see, hieroglyphs and everything well kept. Of course here the colors have faded because it was exposed to the sun. But going in, this particular tomb had all of these false doors everywhere. So it's like a door within a door within a door. And those are all symbolic to the journey into the afterlife. They would have glyphs around them to tell, with spells on, to explain to the soul, the car, or the bar who's leaving the body, where to go and how to interact with each of the doorways or portals in the afterlife so that they can make it through to the Elysian fields. This place was actually really peaceful, very beautiful. We were just the three of us in this temple for most of the time. I think towards the end of our visit in this area there was 2 or 3 other people arriving, but for most part we had the temple all to ourselves, and we could really just soak up the feeling. At this stage, this was after the pyramids, we had sort of landed and chilled, and this was all just about being perhaps the mundane explorer, but still really soaking up the beauty and the energies within the space. Just see if I can remember it. Okay, from here, this is all the upper level. And then, yeah, some really exquisite detail in the hieroglyphs. I haven't posted everything on here, but the depictions of the animals, like for example, the donkeys up here. There was one with cows, one with crocodiles, all really, really beautifully executed. And then in the main room towards the back, there is a wall that's built, and it's got these 3 little windows in them, and they're really tiny windows. And when you look through the window, you have a statue of Tea in the back. And so I just took the pictures through the windows, and without taking the photo, I spent quite a bit of time here just to meditate on the energy here. There was a really peaceful and calm, serene energy within this space. Looking at the statue standing on the other side of this enclosed room where there's no access to other than through these little windows. And so the Egyptians believed that the statue, or the Ushabti, as they called it, is a placeholder for the hut, the physical body. So when we die, the ka, your astral body, connects to your hut, the physical body, as a vehicle. And when that hut disappears, your ka dissipates. And the idea was to keep the ka and the ba and the ach and all of the different bodies intact for as long as possible. Because the longer they are kept intact, the longer you can stay within the Elysian fields in the afterlife. So they did believe in some form of reincarnation, but they wanted to extend their period in the afterlife. So the belief was, if the body or the name was destroyed or both, then the more of you that's destroyed when you pass, then the quicker you come back, which shortens your time within the Elysian fields. So this statue was built and placed in a small room that was completely enclosed, and the only way through was through these little windows, and there's no way you can crawl through those windows. They're too small for that. So in a way, creating a space for the body to continue, and the windows are for the car and for the bar to be moving through, so that they have access to this temporary body that was given to them, or more like a permanent body. Then when we go further out of the temple, in the courtyard, there's a very tiny little hole going down with these staircase, and as you can see with these stairs going down, it looks like it just goes into like a very low hole, and it really is. You've got to completely fold double and crawl through there, through a very narrow tunnel that you see on the other side. You can see the other person standing on the other side. So through this tunnel again, you've got to literally be folded double or crawl to get through, and that takes you through to the main tomb, and within the tomb, the sarcophagus was placed sort of on the side in the chamber and up, so you had to climb up with quite a high step, and then you had the sarcophagus. This sarcophagus was open. We had free time here, and I had a very strong desire to go lie in the sarcophagus, which I did. So I spent a little bit of time in here lying down. I closed my eyes, just went into a bit of a meditation. Walter and Mariam with me was holding space and just ensured no one else was coming in, but we were alone down here. So I had some time here. Of course, I had the Wands of Horus cards with me. I don't quite know how long I was here and how long time I spent here. I did get some downloads and some energy transfers while here. And then literally when I came back out and I jumped out of the sarcophagus, maybe 3 seconds later, the other people arrived. So it all just worked out in the time that was allocated to me while I was there to be in that space. So that's it. This is it for this particular tomb. As I'd mentioned, we did not really do any major ceremonies or any rituals after the pyramid. It was really just for us as a come down, easing our way out of the journey that lasted for nearly a month. Okay, so let's have a look at today's session. Let's get into our sheet here. Okay, so we have the Book of Doors. As I mentioned before, or I may have mentioned before, the way that we work with these is I've got an 8-sided die. You throw the die, it gives you a number, you throw the number again, and then it gives you the card. So you go through this process. I've got 10 cards, which means the die is thrown 20 times. Of course, after holding the light code in mind, or in hand while I'm doing this. And then the cards are out, and then then from there I douse to see what Wands of Horus cards go on top. Okay, so let's have a look at the reading here, because part of this reading is also going to be in your healing. Your job is to find the connection between your goal and focus for today's session, and overlay that on top of the story that we're going to be revealing over here. Okay, so the first card that we have on top, this is your spiritual level. The second level down is a mental level, then the emotional level, then the physical level. The spiritual level is also your guiding principles. What is all of this all about? Now, the top card that we have here is Seth. Seth is, if we had to see in Western sort of relationships, it could be seen as the devil. In Egyptian times, Seth was seen as the opposition. So if we're looking from a yin-yang perspective, he was the balancing force between those. It could indicate that there's a lot of strife happening, and that whatever you're going through, this is not a time to attack or almost really take action to that. You may want to retreat, take a step back, take a breather, just really step back out of the drama, whatever is happening around you right now, and just pause for a moment. I have found this whole year so far there's been a lot of stop-start, energies feeling a little bit like crunchy, not quite moving properly. So where we are right this very minute, this is a time to just pause for a moment. Don't make any rash decisions now, and don't go and on any offensive. So no attacking for now, just pause. Then on the mental level, we have the past thoughts that's still affecting you right now. So the first card we have here is Meschanet. She is about birthing, about materialization, and new beginnings. So behind her is the symbol for Shen, which is eternity. When Meschanet comes on, it could indicate that there's some astrological influences that's operating or that's going about. So I mean, just looking at the card just above Seth, that says like, don't really do anything right now. I'm not an astrologer, but I know that some astrologers, they work with charts where they'll check before you need to do something or where you need to pause. And so just by getting Meschanet here, I would say, like, if you are into astrology, perhaps just check the stars before making any actions. The future guidance that we have, though, is that we have the Afneteru. Afneteru is the sons of Horus. Now, this indicates that there's something new beginning. We're moving in a new direction, and there is some protection at hand. We are protected. But we're in a preparation phase. We're not really in a phase where things are starting just yet. This is a preparation phase. So I would also say we need to hold. So just there's a reminder here that you are protected. There is help coming. Just pause. Just don't do anything rash just yet. Then going down to the emotional level, the first card that we have is Nefertum. Nefertum is the sort of the divine child that created itself, if you look from an Egyptian mythological background. And this is all about self-realization, or the joy of just realization in general. It's about experiences and the distillation that comes with that. And it's really about observing everything with fresh new eyes. So in the past, that's the way that we used our emotions. Somewhere along the way, in the recent past, there was some maybe realization or new birth, new beginning. If I remember vaguely, we had quite a few cards about birthing and things like that in the past readings that we've done. And so this is coming up again, but this is from the other side of that birth. The birth has happened, but we're in that sort of first stage perhaps where we can't move too much. In the center, this is our central card. This is our bridge. It's a bridge between the mental, spiritual, and also the physical, and it represents us where we are right now. Here we have Ma'at. Ma'at is all about truth and justice. It's about realizing that there's higher laws at play here, and it's influencing things. So even with Ma'at here, even though we've got the protection from the one side, you've got astrological influences, Ma'at is also saying there's some other forces going about at the moment. Even with the chaos that's happening around and strife that's happening around Seth's side. And even though we've got Nefertum, this birth, and Mut on the other side, all coming together, we have to be in the space of quiet calm for right now. The card next to Ma'at is Mut, and Mut is the mother goddess. So this is stepping into a space of mothering. It could be about a gestation phase or a birthing phase. And this could be on a mental, emotional, or spiritual level. But because we are on the emotional level, I would say this is a birthing of something new on an emotional level. It could also talk about unconditional or selfless love. So the sort of the love that the mother would give her child. But this is the direction we're moving into. So it's our future guidance. So Afneter is saying we're protected. We've got the mothering, and then we've got Ker sitting at the bottom. Then the bottom layer, this is the physical level. So how we acted in the past and what those effects it's still having play at us. Here we have Happy. Happy is the union or joining of opposites. This is the god of the Nile, so it's about the union of the upper and lower Egypt. And so we've got an influx here of positive energy, and that it's bringing a sense of renewal, and it's like the Nile coming down with its beautiful life-sustaining water, and it's like just like bringing life to the land. That's what's happening here. But it brings us a fluid aspect as well. So looking at the water, just the fluid nature, the flexibility and flow. Now, if I look at these past cards, Meschanet, Nefertum, and Happy, it would indicate that the work that we've done in the past has led us to where we are right now. So there's been some changes. We have definitely moved through some things, because I remember in some of the past readings, it felt like we were almost like they're moving really, really slowly through the things. Then we could see how the cards are moving through. And here where we are, we've now have moved through that, but we're in the space of gestation and newness. And there's a pause that's needed at the moment, just a brief pause. Our ideals and aspirations is Atum, that is next to Happy, and Atum is about creative power. Now Atum is also one of the creator gods. He's also one of the self-created gods, so connecting directly with Nefertum as well. So we've got that creative force that's there. So Atum is about self-projecting, projecting himself or yourself in this case out into the world, so that you can step into your creative nature. This is where we're wanting to go. So our ideals and our aspirations is to do that. How we're going to implement these ideas is to go to the next card, which is Ujit. And Ujit is about, first of all, power. There is a protective quality here as well, but it's about the flow and the creative energy. So talking back to the Atu, that creative energy needs to flow. That leads us to an enlightened state. So however you're going to be flowing with your creative energy, and that's going to lead to a spiritual awakening. But to just understand and know that we do have protection and power around us. So it just talks back to what's happening with Afneteru as well. This is a very interesting read, and it's a very interesting energy that we are in at the moment. Then the final card is Ker, and Ker is about the transmission of energy and the realization of our plans. So in this quiet space where we're not really doing much action. We almost like pulling back a little bit, pausing and just checking out the scene. We are receiving information from Ujit, from Atum, Nefertum, even Ma'at, and we are realizing how those plans are going to go about. So this is very much, the feeling I get with this read is that it's very much a space of stillness and pause. Do not yet move, and you do not want to engage with the set, the opposition, the chaos and the strife. So if you are going through something that's got a little bit chaotic, or perhaps a bit of a clashing of energies, just see if you can separate yourself from that for a moment, for a little bit, and come to a space of stillness. So on top of those cards, I asked to see what Wands of Horus cards need to come in. So how are we going to balance that? And on top of Set, we have the Divine Feminine. So the Divine Feminine is again that quiet, calm, yin style energy that we're looking at. So perhaps just a reminder of that stillness that we need to go into. Meschanet has the Jed pillar, which is about repair, restore, and rejuvenate. So whatever that new beginning is, or that astrological influences, the Jed pillar is all about restructuring that or holding that structure in place. Afneteru has a divine child in it. Interesting that the divine child is going to sit on top of the Afneteru, which is the divine children of Horus. So we've got the divine child that's also just reminding us that we are going into that childlike nature at the moment. Nefertum has the Chet, or the protection energy. This is the more passive form of protection, so we are protected. Ma'at has the Receive card, which could also be about giving, offering, receiving, or holding specific energy. So perhaps just a hold where we are. Mut has the Ach card. Ach is your combination of the Ba and the Ka. When the personality and the astral body come together, it forms the spirit, which is the Ach. So this is sitting on the Mut card, which takes the Mut energy up to a more spiritual level. So whatever this phase is definitely some spiritual awakening of sorts. Happy has the Nete Neteru, or Necher Necheru, and this is about basically anything is possible through this union that we have with Happy. Then Atum has the Divine Masculine. So Divine Feminine is sitting on Set, and then Atum has got the Divine Masculine on it. Atum is getting into that action. So Atum, remember, is that self-projection that you want to work with. Then Ujit has Ren, which is the true name. So as we're stepping into this awakening and enlightenment and flowing with our energetic flow, we're connecting to who we are in a deep level. And then the final card is Ker, which has the Ba on it. The Ba is our personality, and the Ba is also what leaves the physical body when we die, when we go into the afterlife. So that's the Ba is, you'll see that it's got a human head on an animal body. So what that means is we're going from a human form into the spiritual, whether this be spiritual traveling, dream work, or astral traveling, remote viewing, or anything like that. Okay, so an interesting read here. See how it relates to what you're going through currently, or perhaps what your questions were, and if this relates. And we're going to go through into the balancing phase for this now. So I'm going to deactivate my video, and I want you to just get into a quiet, comfortable, calm position, and close your eyes. Nice, slow, deep breathing. And throughout this session, or if you feel that you need to focus a little bit on energies, we are going to have a whole hand position. One hand on the sacral, just below the navel, and one hand on the heart. So you can place your one hand on the heart and the one hand on the sacral right now and keep them here through the duration of the work that we're about to do. Or you can place your hands in a comfortable position, and whenever you've got something where you feel the energy is not really shifting well, then place the one hand on the heart and one on the sacral. It doesn't matter which one is on top or which one's at the bottom, as long as you feel comfortable with this. So, with your eyes closed and tuning into the frequency of the energies that we had, everything I mentioned, and how that relates to your questions or your desires, your manifestations, your focus. The first thing that comes up is that we need to connect to a person. And who is this person that you need to connect to? You will know intuitively who this person is. The person's face may appear in front of your internal screen, or you may just have an internal knowing of who this person is that you need to connect to or connect with. And just perhaps bring up an image of this person. As you are connecting with this person, what emotion comes up for you? How does this emotion make you feel? Sometimes we have a specific emotion, but then as soon as you feel that emotion, another emotion creeps in that could be positive or negative. Just allow yourself to also just trace how these emotions are playing. Perhaps if it switches over to a negative, bring it back to the positive. You're allowed to feel any emotion you want here within your inner world without any judgment. Allow yourself to receive that energy. Receive the energy of these emotions that you're feeling right now. And allow yourself to go deeper. Give yourself permission to feel. And when have you felt this before? How were things different or the same in the past when you felt these things before? How do they compare between then and now? Now allow yourself to receive a message. So taking all of this information that we just told, receive a message, and receive this message in any way, shape or form, however this comes through to you. What is your personal message for right now? Upon receiving this message, when have you felt this way before? What emotion comes up for you? Or emotions? Find a way to express these emotions by saying the words, I feel, and whatever the emotion may be. For example, I feel joy, I feel love, or I feel sadness, I feel depression, whatever comes up for you. Express these emotions. If you need more time here, pause the recording. Now connect to the angels, whether this be the angels in general, the archangels, or perhaps a specific angel. Allow yourself to connect to the angels. Now, what positive feelings are you ready to welcome into your life? With the help of the angels around, allowing yourself to feel fully, allow yourself to receive and welcome in those positive feelings. Receive these feelings without guilt, without worry, without judgment. Fully allow yourself to receive these emotions. They are there for you to feel. And this is feelings in your own personal space. Allow that. Now continue to stay in this space, be in these feelings, and while you are holding and staying in this space, I'm just going to lock in the energies. Becoming aware of your body, perhaps wiggling your fingers or your toes, perhaps taking your thumb from the one fingertip to the next, just gently sliding your thumbs over the tips of your fingers, coming back into the body. Easily and gently open your eyes back into this time and space, feeling wide awake and wonderfully refreshed. Welcome back. Okay, one final little bit, homework. So we've got 2 pieces of homework. You can choose which one or both you want to do. Perhaps there's only one that you want to do. Perhaps you want to do both of them. The one piece of homework is giving back or paying it forward. So paying it forward is literally, as the name suggests, paying for the person behind you for whatever it is that they are wanting. Some people go as far as literally paying for someone else's shopping. I've done it before where I've been in a restaurant and I saw someone that I just deeply connected with on a heart level without them even knowing, and then I would pay for their bill. And so I would just pay my bill along with their bill, and I would get up and leave without saying anything, and or even observing how the person receives that. It can be deeply rewarding to do a selfless act of giving, especially if you're not getting the spotlight on you or people see it or whatever. So you're not giving because you want to receive the thanks, but you're giving because you want to give. The other piece of homework is breath work. So finding any form of breath work that works for you, whether it's nostril breathing or alternative nostril breathing or Ananda Mandala, or whether it's Qigong breath work or belly breathing or whatever. Find some breath work that you can do focusing on the breath. We are going through a little phase of quiet, calm, and let's hold back. So use this time to tune into your breath and to find your center. So with that, I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I'm seeing you in our next session. Take care and goodbye for now.